Chapter 1. The first note in the heart of London, where the Thames flows like the melody of an ancient song, lived a young violinist named Alara. Her life was a tapestry woven with the threads of music, each note she played a whisper of her soul. Alara resided in a quaint flat above a bookstore, her window overlooking a small, forgotten square where street musicians often played. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves turned golden under the streetlights, Alara decided to play her violin for the first time in public. She chose a piece by Vivaldi, one that resonated with the changing seasons. As she played, her music filled the square with a warmth that seemed to push back the encroaching chill of the night. Among the small crowd that gathered was a man named Theo, a writer whose life had been dedicated to capturing the essence of human experiences in words. He had wandered into the square by chance, his mind cluttered with the tumult of a recent writer's block. The music, however, cut through his fog like a beacon. Theo watched Alara, her fingers dancing on the strings, her eyes closed in concentration or perhaps in escape. He was struck not just by her skill but by the visible passion she exuded. When the last note faded, he felt an urge to capture that moment in his notebook. "Bravo!" Theo called out as the applause died down. Alara opened her eyes, her cheeks flushed from the cool air or perhaps from the performance. She offered a shy smile, one that Theo found himself wanting to see more often. "Thank you," she replied, her voice melodic even in speech. "May I buy you a coffee?" Theo asked impulsively. To discuss the art of capturing beauty, whether in notes or words, Alara hesitated, her life a series of notes but rarely of conversations. Yet, there was something about Theo's eyes, a kindred spirit perhaps, that made her nod. "I'd like that." Chapter 2. Crescendo of conversations. They walked to a small cafe where the windows were fogged from the warmth inside. Over steaming cups of coffee, they spoke of art, life, and the beauty found in fleeting moments. Alara learned that Theo was working on a novel, one where he struggled to convey the depth of human emotion. "Your music tonight," Theo said, his voice earnest, it spoke volumes. "It's what I aim for with my words. And your words could give life to my music," Alara countered, her interest piqued. They parted with a promise to meet again, each driven by a curiosity about the other's world. Days turned into weeks, and their meetings became a ritual. Theo would read passages from his work, and Alara would play pieces she composed, inspired by his stories. Their friendship blossomed into something deeper, unspoken yet understood through the exchange of art. They explored London together, finding music in the city's heartbeat, from the clatter of the tube to the serene silence of dawn over the river. Chapter 3. Discordant tones. However, life, much like music, has its moments of discord. Theo received an offer to travel for his writing, an opportunity he couldn't refuse but one that would take him away from London. Alara felt the sharp sting of potential separation, her heartstrings pulled taut. The night before Theo was to leave, they met at their cafe. The atmosphere was heavy with unsaid words. "Alara," Theo began, his voice low, "I don't want this to be an end. But it feels like one," she whispered, her eyes glistening. "Music and distance don't mix well. We'll find a way. I'll write, you'll play. We'll be in each other's art," Theo promised, his own resolve wavering. Their farewell was silent, filled with the unspoken promise of love through their crafts. Chapter 4. Harmony across miles. Months passed. Theo sent letters filled with his experiences, each one a story in itself, while Alara responded with recordings of her new compositions, each note a heartbeat she shared with him. Their art kept them connected, a bridge across continents and oceans. Alara performed in larger venues now, her music gaining recognition, but every piece she played was a letter to Theo. Meanwhile, Theo's novel was taking shape, inspired by the music that traveled from London to wherever he was. One day, Theo returned to London unannounced, his novel finished. He went straight to the square where it all began, now bustling with people awaiting Alara's evening performance. As she played, her music reached its crescendo. Theo stepped into view. Alara's eyes met his, and for a moment, the world was just their shared melody. She concluded her piece with a flourish, and the applause was drowned by her rush into his arms. Chapter 5. The final movement. Months turned into years, and their lives intertwined like the strings of a violin. They married in the same square, with music and words celebrating their union. Theo's novel became a bestseller, each page infused with the essence of Alara's music. Alara, now an acclaimed composer, dedicated her symphony, Echoes of Love, to Theo. Their home was filled with books and music, a sanctuary for creatives. They hosted gatherings where writers, musicians, and artists converged, creating a symphony of human connections. As they grew old, sitting by their window overlooking the square, Theo would read his latest work, and Alara would hum along, creating melodies for his tales. Their love was their art their love, a continuous echo through time. And so, in the heart of London, where the Thames still flowed, the story of Alara and Theo became a legend, whispered in the notes of every violin and penned in the pages of every book, a testament to love in its purest form.